In this Death Stranding 2 on the beach video, I want to go over some key details you should know before you decide to buy this game. So let's dive in. Death Stranding 2 is literally a week away from now, launching on June 26th. And it looks set to bring us a truly ambitious adventure with themes of connection and a greater emphasis on combat. Death Stranding 2 is only launching on PS5 for the time being in terms of platforms. Now, as we know, the first game is on PC, so I imagine this will be maybe a year or two exclusive deal for the game to be on PS5 platform until it arrives on PC in the future via Steam and Epic Game Store. If the collector's edition is still available, it's priced at $230 and will include a digital game download, collector's box, 48-hour early access, a 15-inch Megaloman statue, a 3-inch Dollman figurine, a letter from Hideo Kojima, and art cards. You also bag yourself a myriad of in-game items, including various weapons, cosmetic patches, and gear. The Digital Deluxe Edition has an $80 price tag and includes 48-hour early access and in-game items, including an early unlock of a machine gun, along with pre-order bonuses such as the custom hologram of a Quokka and other gear-based items. The standard digital edition is $70, and the pre-order bonus for all editions includes the full game alongside the Quokka hologram early unlock and the battle boost and Boca power skeletons for Sam. Death Stranding 2 will be powered by Decima, the same engine used for the first game, and this is also the proprietary game engine created by Guerrilla Games. The studio's engine is behind Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West, and as I mentioned, first Death Stranding game. And this helps set new benchmarks for visual fidelity and the implementation of high dynamic range lighting on PS4 and PS5. While Kojima Productions is the leading developer on Death Stranding 2, Guerrilla is actually the support studio for all things Decima. The performance capture seen in Death Stranding 2 trailers was completed with assistance from the PlayStation Studios Visual Arts Group, with the uncannily realistic digital humans powered by Epic Games' metahuman technology. Next, let's talk Death Stranding 2 cast. Hideo Kojima has announced the first run of actors set from the Death Stranding 2 cast. As with the original game, Death Stranding 2 is packed with talent from across the video game and film industries. So, as of right now, we know the main lineup is Norman Reedus as Sam Porter Bridges, main character, right? Leah Seydoux as Fragile, Troy Baker as Higgs, Ellie Fanning as Tomorrow, Shirley Kutsuna as Rainey, George Miller as Tarman, Fateh Akin as Dollman, Darren Jacobs as Hartman, Alyssa Jung as Lucy, Luca Marinelli as Neil. Death Stranding 2 is set 11 months after events of the first game, and Sam Bridges has been made redundant by the automated Porter Assistant System, set to follow Sam and his companions as they set out on a new journey to save humanity from extinction. The pre-order trailer sets the scene for the adventure to come. 11 months after the birth of the UCA, servers line the beach. Deliveries have been automated. A plate gate connects the continents. A new ship rides the tar currents that shake the earth. Mysterious faction spreads. Chiralium warps the environment. The unending sixth extinction. The mention of Chiralium is notable since it directly connects to the beach and is present throughout the atmosphere of the world. How or why it's warping the environment, though, is something we'll have to discover for ourselves when we play the game. Perhaps it connects to the theory that we may see alternate realities. There's certainly lots to unpack from the trailer, and I'm curious to see how it all comes together. In an interview in issue 411 of Edge magazine, Kojima also spoke on the thematic direction of the Death Stranding series, which no doubt continued to factor into Death Stranding 2, explaining that while the loss of my father was a major theme in the Metal Gear series, Death Stranding looks in the other direction, by giving us the parent's perspective looking towards the child. Interestingly, prior to dropping more detailed trailers, Kojima revealed that the entire story that was initially put together had been scrapped after the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking at the Game Awards 2022, the director and writer said this of the Death Stranding 2 story. I had the story written before the pandemic, but after experiencing the pandemic, I just rewrote the whole story from scratch. Kojima then added this comment with a smile, speaking to his uncanny ability to predict events through games like Metal Gear Solid 2 and Death Stranding. I also didn't want to predict any more futures, so I rewrote it. Kojima also later spoke with Edge magazine about how isolation pushed him towards games that don't already exist in the world, and spoke about how it felt as though people were no longer connected. Connection once again looks set to be the big theme in the upcoming sequel. Let's talk about gameplay. Described as an open world action adventure game, play from third-person perspective. It said that the player must deliver cargo, overcome enemies, both human and otherworldly, and explore a post-apocalyptic world by foot and vehicle. Not unlike the first game, Death Stranding 2 will also feature asynchronous multiplayer, where the creations or actions of other players will become visible and usable to you once you've connected to areas of the map. Recently, we had a stream showcase of the game, which showed off Tomorrow in a new trailer. It was cinematic, it wasn't actual gameplay, but it showed Tomorrow helping out Sam, and we're using her crazy powers and just decimating these robots. Not only that, we got a glimpse of what the battle is, the boss fight against Neil, which looked very fun to do, and I can't wait to experience it in the game myself. It did give off the impression that the boss fights aren't necessarily super difficult, but at the same time have been a bit more expanded upon. Neil as a boss is going to be more elusive, and you just have to like essentially follow where he goes, take care of any of his companions with him as needed, but try to focus on him mostly using what's in your arsenal. Another thing is maps. So it's been confirmed that Death Stranding 2 will have 2 open world type areas, one in Mexico and one in Australia, with the latter serving as a primary scene or location of Sam exploring the world. And this should be exciting because this is going to offer even more environmental diversity for players. There's also skippable boss fights for those who want to focus on the narrative and not really engage with the boss fights. It's available in the game over screen below continue. When selected, players can view image and text descriptions of the battle before continuing on their merry way. Whether this is on easy difficulty or on all difficulties remains to be seen, so we'll just have to wait and see when we play. There's even more open world details with dynamic gameplay improvements involving the environment, like you got natural disasters happening like earthquakes, tornadoes, firestorms, I believe as well too, or fires in general, and sandstorms, and it goes on. There's also a day and night cycle this time around too. And that's in addition to other threats like timefall and BTs, mind you. There have been some gameplay improvements implemented in this game that were not put in the first game because they learned from their mistakes, things like that. So there's a bigger emphasis and focus on stealth as well as combat, where you have more options if you want to avoid combat altogether. It's your choice, where you can have some fun stealth you can do. And if you want to go in running, gunning, you'll have a lot of fun with that as well too, along with greater enemy variety. In terms of game length, this will be an even bigger game. It'll be roughly 70 hours or 75 hours to complete. Somewhat being much bigger than the first game, almost double that actually. But then you got to think about optional content, which could make the hours of the game go even longer, or that 75-hour roughly length of the game could include all the optional content. And with this being on PS5, you'll have the quality and performance mode options that usually come with games of this high caliber, with quality focusing on fidelity at the cost of frame rates, and with performance mode essentially providing a consistent 60 FPS with some drawbacks in other areas. And if you have a PS5 Pro, then the game is going to be enhanced for that system as well. And lastly, there are no future plans for DLC for Death Stranding 2. And this makes sense because he's already got 2 other games in the works that he's working on, an Xbox exclusive called OD. And then he's also going to be working on another future title for PlayStation called Ficent, which is going to be like returning to espionage like in Metal Gear. So this makes sense in terms of them just doing like maybe the normal, post-launch updates and fixes where it needs to be in terms of bugs, glitches, things like that. And that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. So what are your thoughts? Please sound off in the comments below. What do you think about this? Is this something you plan to get, or are you going to hold off for a sale with all the details that you've learned today? And I hope you enjoyed this video and did learn something. If you did, hit that like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video.